Hi everyone, welcome to lecture number 22, the first lecture on human capital. So far we discussed about labor demand, we discussed about labor supply, we discussed about labor market equilibrium both in competitive environment as well as in non-competitive environment. In this lecture we are going to discuss the role of human capital in labor market. We will discuss about how individuals they choose the particular set of skills that they offer to the employers and how their choices affect the evolution of earnings over the working life. So, in this module we will discuss about the impact of human capital on the individuals as well as in the labor market outcomes. So, we will discuss about that why some workers they get a lot of schooling and other workers they drop out at the early age. Workers who invest in schooling are willing to give up earnings today in return of higher earnings in future. For example, we earn a relatively low wage while we attend college or participate in a formal education and training. However, we expect to be rewarded by higher earnings later on as we collect the returns on our investment in education. So, the trade off between lower earnings today and the higher earnings later as well as the financial and institutional constraints that limit access to education determines the distribution of educational attainment in the population. So, we will discuss about the trade off between these education and earning, how many years of schooling one should attend and what kind of trade off happens when somebody takes a decision to enter into the school or spend more time on in the school or having higher education. We will also discuss about whether the money spent on this education is a good investment. In particular, how does the rate of return to schooling compare with the rate of return on other investments? Well, keeping aside our own personal interest in knowing whether we are getting a good deal out of our college education, the rate of return to schooling plays an important role in many policy decisions. So, it is often argued that the subsidizing investments to education and other learning activities is the assured way of improving economic well-beings of the low income and disadvantaged workers in the economy. It happens that we do not typically stop accumulating skills and knowledge the day we finally leave the school. Instead, we continue to add to our human capital stocks throughout much of our working lives on job trainings and so on so. So, as a result of human capital acquired through training and vocational programs, the college graduates in their 50s earn twice as much as the college graduates in their 20s. So, in this module we will discuss and analyze that how workers choose a particular path for their post school investment and investigates how these choice influence the evolution of earnings over the life cycle and determines the earning distribution in the economy. However, during our analysis we will assume that the workers choose this level of human capital and investment that maximizes the present value of the lifetime earning. So, this approach to the study of these determinants of earning distribution differs fundamentally from the alternative approaches that view a worker's wage as determined by luck or some other random factors. So, we are only focusing that the educational attainment, the human capital investment in education and its return in the lifetime earnings. However, these random events might include whether the worker happened to meet an aging billionaire on the way to the work, or whether the worker was having breakfast at the Hollywood dinner when an influential agent worked in. So, those things are there. The human capital approach does not deny that looks and being in the right place at the right time influence the worker's earning. Rather, here we stress the idea that our educational and training decisions and human capital plays a significant and important role in determining the earnings of an individual. So, human capital refers to the skills, knowledge, experience and the attributes that individuals possess, which contribute to their productivity and economic value in the labor market. So, the importance of human capital in the labor market cannot be overstated as it influences various aspects of employment and economic growth. So, let me discuss certain points that why human capital is so crucial. Human capital development leads to the increased productivity among the workers, it enhances the productivity. So, well educated and skilled individuals are more efficient at performing tasks, problem solvings and generating innovation solutions, ultimately driving organizational productivity and competitiveness. So, human capital enhances the productivity of the workers. Further, it improves the quality of the workforce. Human capital contributes to the quality of workforce by ensuring that individuals possess the necessary competency and expertise to meet the job requirement effectively. So, a highly skilled workforce enhance the quality of goods and services produced and leading to improved customer satisfaction and reputation for the business house. Further, human capital is required because of the adaptability to change. Now, in today's dynamic labor market, which is characterized by rapid change in technology and the technological advancement, the way it is happening in the process of production, it has evolved the job roles. So, the human capital plays a critical role in enabling the workers to adapt to the change, and continuous learning and skill development ensures that individuals remain relevant and resilient in the face of shifting the industry demand. So, in 21st century, the fast forward change in the technological advancement has changed the labor market dynamics. So, one has to update his skill so that he can adapt these changes and survive in the labor market. Further, human capital fosters innovation, creativity, it drives the economic growth and competitiveness. Individuals with diverse skills and knowledge contribute to the generation of new ideas, processes, the technologies which fuel the entrepreneurship and industry innovation and the development of the new markets in the economy over a long period of time. Further, it enhances the employability and mobility of the individuals. Human capital enhances workers' employability and the mobility within the labor market. Workers with valuable skills and expertise are more attractive to employers and have greater opportunities for the career advancement, job mobility, higher wages. So, human capital plays a crucial role in career advancements, shifting of jobs and getting high wages. In long term, investment in human capitals benefits for the economic development at the aggregate level. So, by prioritizing education, training, skill development, the countries can cultivate a highly educated and skilled workforce, which is capable of driving sustainable economic growth and reducing poverty and promoting social well-being. Further, human capital development can contribute to reducing income inequality by providing individuals from the disadvantaged background with the opportunities to acquire valuable skills. and improve their socio-economic status. So, it reduces the income inequality in the economy. Access to quality education and training programs enables the individuals to overcome the barriers to upward mobility in achieving the economic success. Further, in 21st century we live in a globalized world. So, the competition is at the global level and the worker is no more a local worker, worker has to compete with the global workforce. So, in a global competitiveness, nations with a highly skilled and educated workforce are better positioned to compete globally. Human capital serves as a key determinant for a country's competitiveness in the global economy, which attracts investment, fostering innovation and driving economic prosperity. So, in conclusion, we can say that human capital is a fundamental driver of individual success, also for the performance of the organization and for the economic growth in the labor market. So, investing in development of human capital through education, training and lifelong learning is essential for building a skilled, adaptable and innovative workforce, which is capable of meeting the challenges of the 21st century in the economy. When we talk about human capital investment, like any other investment, an investment in human capital involves the costs that are borne in near terms of with these expectations that the benefits will occur in the future. So, when we invest in human capital, we are bearing some cost at present, we are expecting that we will get a benefit in the future. So, generally when we speak, we can divide the cost of adding to human capital into three categories. When we talk about the cost, it is out of pocket or the direct expenses, which includes the tuition cost or the expenditure on books and other supplies. Second type of cost which is associated while accumulating the human capital is that the foregone earnings that arises because during the investment period it is usually impossible to work. So, it is at least not full time. So, one cost is the direct cost, which is the out of pocket expenditure, is the direct cost to acquire some human capital. Second is the foregone earning. So, that is also another cost which someone has to bear when they are investing in the human capital. The third type of cost is the psychic loss that occurs because earning is often difficult and tedious, and it is very difficult to say that what will be the future returns, that is quite uncertain. So, these are three type of costs which are involved when we talk about the investment in the human capital. In the case of education and training investment by the workers, the expected returns are in the form of higher future earnings, increased job satisfaction over their lifetime and a greater appreciation of non-market activities and interests. So, even if we could quantify all the future benefits, summing them over the relevant years is not a straightforward procedure, because the delay involved in receiving these investments returns. So, you invest today, you will get the return after some days. So, there is a lag effect to the return to the investment. When an investment decision is made, the investor commits a current outlay of expenses in return for the stream of expected future benefits. So, the individual, the investor do compare this cost and benefits, the present cost and the future benefit. So, investment returns are clearly subject to and the element of risk, because no one can predict the future with certainty, but they are also delayed in the sense that typically flow in over what may be very long period of time. So, the investor needs to compare the value of the current investment outlays with an current value of expected returns, but in so doing must take into account the effect of the delay in the returns. Let me explain how it is done with an example. Suppose a woman is offered $100 now or $100 after 1 year. So, would she be equally attracted to these two alternatives, getting $100 now or getting $100 after 1 year? No, she is not equally attracted to these two alternatives, because if she receives the money now, she could either spend it now or she could invest this $100 and earn some interest over the next year. So, if the interest rate is 5%, let us say $100 now would grow into 105 in a year's time. So, thus $100 received now is worth more than the $100 to be received in a year. So, with an interest of 5%, it could take an offer of this 105 to be received in a year to match the value of getting this 100 now. So, if you are saying that whether you will get 100 now or you will get 105 in the next year, then we may we are giving some equivalent value. So, because 100 now could be grown into 105 at the end of a year. So, these two offers are now equivalent values. Another way of putting this equivalence is to say that with a 5% interest rate, the future value in a year of $100 now is 105. Therefore, receiving $105 is 1 year equivalence to receiving 100 in the present and invest it at 5% for 1 year. So, the procedure for taking a future value and transforming it into its present value equivalent is called discounting. So, at what rate we are discounting? If the future return is only a year away, we discount it by the factor to calculate the present value equivalence. So, the formula typically we use the how we can discount the future amount to get the present value. Here the formula is given that present value of this future amount y. So, we can get the present value of the future amount y by going with this formula. The present value equals to the future amount divided by 1 plus r to the power t, where r is the rate of interest or the discount rate, we can say it, and the t is the number of time period, for how many time periods. So, t ranges from 1 to n. So, if the time period is 2, then it is the present value we can get it by this y by 1 plus r to the power 2. So, this is the typical formula which is used to estimate the present value of any future amount which is discounted by some interest rate r. These formulas are extremely useful when we study the decisions that involve expenditure made or dollars received at different time periods, because they allow us to state the value of these expenditures and the receipt in terms of today's dollar. So, we discount all our future returns to the present value with some discount rate. Here we have taken the discount rate is the interest rate. So, let us begin our analysis of this important question by assuming that workers acquire the education level that maximizes the present value of lifetime earnings. So, they invest now, over the time period they are going to get the return. So, we can draw the cash flow. At the present you are going to have cost for that, and you are going to have future return. So, education and other forms of training therefore, are valued only because they increase earnings. Right now, we will ignore the side effects of human capital investment, like it reduces the cost of entering the marriage market, it affects the person's utility in many other ways, and we concentrate exclusively on the monetary reward of what we invest in education. So, we are going to only estimate that what is the earnings we are going to receive in the labor market, while questioning that how much of education level the worker should acquire, so that they can maximize their lifetime earnings. Consider a situation faced by an 18-year-old man who had just received his high school diploma and who is considering whether to enter to the labor market or attend college and delay the labor market entry by additional 4 years. And suppose there is no on the job training conditions, and that the skills learned in the school do not depreciate over time. We assume these two assumptions. Now, these two assumptions imply that the worker's productivity does not change once he leaves the school, so that the real earnings, that is the earning after adjusting the inflation, are constant over the lifetime. So, in this situation, here we have tried to draw the age earning profile of the individual. Now, on the x axis we have taken the age, on the y axis we have taken the wage. We are assuming that here after the individual is 18 years old, he has completed his high school. Now, he wants to enter to the labor market. If he wants to enter to the labor market after his high school, then he is going to get a wage rate which is WHS, the wage rate affiliated to the high school education level. So, this is the his lifetime earning, who is that is what he is going to get if he enters to the labor market, and he continues to work for 60 age of 65 years. Now, if he decides to that he should go for another 4 years of higher education, then he will enter into the labor market. Then he is going to have two costs. One is the direct cost. Entering into the college education for another 4 years is going to have some kind of direct cost, which is H. He has to bear for next 4 years. Every year he has to pay some tuition fee, and there is some expenditure which is associated with direct expenditure which is associated to go for higher education. So, this is the amount of cost which is he is going to have in the form of direct cost. Another form of cost he is going to have is that he is going to forego the earnings when he would have entered into the labor market with a high school level of education. Now, he is foregoing this earnings in the labor market for next 4 years. So, he is going to have the direct cost which is minus H. He is also going to forego the earnings which is WH. Now, after 4 years of college education, he enters into the labor market and he gets the wage rate which is WCOL college. So, that is the wage rate which is associated with the college graduates. So, it is expected that the college graduates are more productive, that is why the wage rate is higher than the high school wage rate. So, if you look at this, now this person is going to have to work in the labor market for 43 years, and this person is going to work for the labor market for 47 years. Now, the figure indicates that going to college involves two type of costs. Yes, as I said, a year spent in college is a year spent out of the labor force. So, at least a year spent in the working in low wage part time jobs at least. So, that a college education force the workers to forego some earnings. So, this is the opportunity cost of going to school, the cost of not pursuing the best alternative. So, the opportunity cost is WHS dollar for each year the student goes to college, and the student also has out of pocket expenditure the H dollar for the tuition fees and the books or the variety of other fees are there. So, because the college has no intrinsic value to the student, the employers who wish to attract highly educated workers will have to offer the higher wages. So, the high school wage is less than the college wage level. So, in a sense the high wage paid to the workers with more schooling is compensating the differential that compensate the workers for their training costs. So, if college graduates earned less than high school graduates, then no one would bother to get a college education, because we are assuming that the workers do not get any other benefits from the attending college other than the wage rate. Now, when we talk about how we can decide that whether one should go for college education or should stop at high school level and enter into the labor market, we have to find out the present value of both the cash flows which are going to happen over the lifetime. So, if the individual is going to enter into the labor market with high school schooling, then he is going to have work for 47 years and we can get the present value of high school earning, which is nothing but WHS plus second year earning present value WHS by 1 plus r to the power 1 plus WHS divided by 1 plus r to the power 2. So, and so forth, it is WHS divided by 1 plus r to the power 46. So, we can get the present value of all these future cash flows which he is going to have. Now, if he decides that he should go for a college education of 4 years, then he is going to have some direct costs which is associated with the earnings. Now, this is the direct cost which is going to have when he is attending the high school. It is negative. So, we have put the negative value minus cost plus benefit. This is the earning stream which is going to have. So, we can get the present value of the college education. Now, if the present value of the college education is higher than the present value of the high school education earnings, then definitely he will go for college education. Let me give you one example. Let us say, it is a very simple example. Let us say the worker lives only in 2 time periods and he has to choose from 2 schooling options. One is that he can go to school, another is that he choose not to go to the school. So, in each case, so if he is going to decide that he is not going to attend school, let us say he is going to earn $20,000. So, the present value of this earnings in the 2 time periods is that the first time period is the present, it is already there in the present value 20,000 plus the second time period he is also going to earn 20,000. So, the present value of the second time period is 20,000 divided by 1 plus r to the power 1. So, if you add these two, then we can get that what will be the present value if the individual is not going to attend to the school. If he is going to attend school, he choose to attend school in the first period and in the second period he enters into the labor market. So, while choosing that he will attend the school at the first period, there is a present cost, direct cost is involved, let us say it is $5,000 dollar is involved as the direct cost to attend school. So, after attending school in the second period, when he enters into the labor market, let us say he is earning $47,500. So, if you want to find the present value of both the time periods, then at the first time period it is the cost which is minus 5,000 plus the return which is going to get in the second time period is the 47,500 divided by 1 plus r to the power 1. Now, when we compare these two present values, one is attending school, another one is not attending school. Let us say if the discount rate is 5%, then the present value of not attending school and getting the wage 20,000 in the present time and the time period 1 and time period 2. So, if we estimate the present value not attending school is 20,000 plus 20,000 divided by 1 plus r here is 5% and the t is 1. So, the present value not attending school is coming out to be something 39,048. Similarly, we can estimate the present value of attending school and what will be the wage rate. Then the present value after attending school and getting the wage is nothing but in the first time period he is going to have some cost which is minus 5,000 plus the return he is going to have in the second time period is 47,500 divided by 1 plus r to the power 1. Here r is 5%. So, it is coming out to be 40,238. So, when we compare these two options at present at discount rate 5%, the present value not attending school is 39,048 and the present value of attending school is coming out to be 40,238. So, present value is attending school is higher than the present value of not attending school. So, definitely the individual chooses to attend school. However, if the rate of discount is going to change, if you are going to increase the rate of discount, the choice would have been then different. If the rate of discount is 15%, in that case if you estimate the present value of situation 1 not attending school is coming out to be 37,391, whereas the present value is coming out to be 36,304 in case of attending school. So, in that case the individual should choose not attending school. So, the rate of discount plays a crucial role in determining whether a person goes to school or not. The workers they go to school if the discount rate is 5%, but they do not go to school if the rate of discount is 15%. So, if you compare these two discount rates, the worker goes to school if the rate of discount is 5%, but does not if the rate of discount is 15%. So, the higher rate of discount therefore, is the less likely that a worker will invest in education. So, we can conclude that a worker who has a high discount rate is attached with a very low value of future earnings and opportunities, which means he discounts the receipt of future income too much, because the return to an investment in education are collected in the far off future. The person with high discount rate acquires less schooling. So, it depends on that what is the discount rate of the individuals, at what rate they are discounting their education. It is sometimes assumed that the person's rate of discount equals the market rate of interest, the rate at which the funds deposited in the financial institutions grow over time. After all, the discounting of future earning in present value calculations arise partly because a dollar received this year can be invested and is worth more than a dollar received next year. So, the rate of discount however, also depends on how we feel about giving up some of today's consumption in return of future reward or our time preference. So, there is a casual observation and a large number of psychological experiments are also suggest that people differ in how they approach this trade off. Some of us are present oriented and some of us are not. So, persons who are present oriented have a high discount rate and are less likely to invest in schooling. Although there is some evidence that suggesting that the poor families have a high discount rate than the wealthier families. So, we know little about how a person's time preference is formed. So, we have seen that there is the poor people they discount at a high rate, whereas the wealthier people their discount rate is low. Therefore, it has been seen the correlation that people with high income groups they have more education, whereas the people below belongs to the low income groups they have low educational attainments, because the discount rate is different for these two group of people. In our next lecture, we will discuss about how a person should choose the level of schooling. What should be the year of schooling that maximizes the present value of earnings. We will discuss about the wage schooling locus, and we will discuss about the marginal rate of return from the school, on which the individuals they do the trade off that how many years of schooling they should have. Thank you.